Well, first, the Thunder. I mean, they've had a historic season to this point, winning 68 games in the regular season. That's the most in franchise history. And they also posted a plus 12.9 points per game differential, the highest by any team in NBA history. In brass tacks, that means they beat everybody real good. As for the Pacers, they've been at their best since the calendar turned to 2025. Indy is 46-18 in the regular season and playoffs since January 1st. That's the second best record in the NBA during that span, trailing only the aforementioned OKC Thunder. And despite all of that, the Thunder are heavy favorites to win the championship. Minus 700 at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. It's the 9th time in the last 40 years that a team's been at least that big of a favorite in the finals. The 04 Lakers, who were also a minus 700 favorite, are the only team of the bunch to actually end up losing that series. As we welcome in a guy who knows a thing or two about playing in the finals and also knows a thing or two about the Thunder, Kendrick Perkins. Pacers, big dogs in this one. So what does Indiana have to do in this series to just stand a fighting chance?
Well, Tyrese Halliburton, they'll go have to get in this bag like he got fries at the bottom. And I'm talking about waffle fries with the Polynesian sauce. That type of bag. Those 18 points a game that he's averaging right now in the postseason, that's not going to get it. He's going to have to be really aggressive and look to score. And I'm talking about averaging in between 30 and 35 points a night to match SGA in order for them to even stand a chance in this series. He's really going to have to elevate his game. The Thunder have so many defenders on the perimeter when you think about Luke Dort, Alex Caruso, Cason Wallace, SGA, J-Dub, and Tyrese Halliburton's in his 2 meetings this season against the Thunder. He only averaged 11 points. 11.
Yeah, exactly. Conversely, SGA in those 2 games averaged 39 points, Perk. So how does Indiana handle him defensively?
Pray. I'm just saying, they got to pray. Listen, he's the best perimeter player in the league. He led the league in scoring. He's averaging over 31 over his last 14 games. He has the complete offensive package. He's not Jalen Brunson, right? Jalen Brunson is 6'1", 6'2". You can put pressure on him. He's slower than SGA. SGA is legit 6'6", with everything, especially mid-range. And he gets to the foul line when his shot is not falling. And the growth of SGA right in front of our eyes, is he able to get his 30 or 35 and make others around him better?
The answer so far has been yes. SGA has 7 straight 30-point games at home entering game 1. What you're saying is you got to pray just to make it a game. That's why we stay. Stay right there, because we've got so much more. Super sneaky, underrated song by my guy Hammer, by the way. But first, let's get it to Tony and Mike, who are talking their most interesting final storylines in our PTI bonus topic.
All right, Wilbon, what is the most interesting NBA Finals storyline?
Tony, to me, this is very easy. And I just wrote down 5 names. And the names are Dort, Caruso, J-Dub, Cason Wallace, SGA. SGA being the 5th. And those are the defensive players that Tyrese Halliburton, a wonderfully creative and effective point guard in this league, gotten his team to the finals now, is going to have to get past. That's like getting past the 85 Bears. This, I think, is the best defense, I'm talking about Oklahoma City, either since San Antonio, right, with Ginobili and Tim Duncan and that cast, or the Bulls of Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, Ron Harper. I mean, they're that great defensively, and Halliburton has to deal with them. Lou Dort is Lawrence Taylor. That's who he is. He's my defensive player of the year. He got my vote. I just don't think it's reasonable that he can crack that. I think they are so great defensively. Rick Carlisle has to have gotten no sleep already and trying to figure out what the hell to do to help his great point guard against those guys.
Well, if Lou Dort is Lawrence Taylor, I sure hope Halliburton isn't Joe Theismann, or else we're going to have a very short series. So the storyline that I'm following is actually the duration, the length of time till we get a winner. Oklahoma City is justifiably a very large favorite here. They won the most games in the league all year. They won 68 games. Indiana won 50. Head-to-head, Oklahoma City beat them 2-0. And in those games, speaking to Halliburton's circumstance, they held Halliburton under 20. In one of those games, they didn't just hold him under 20. They held him to 4 actual points. Now, in the playoffs so far, Mike, as I'm sure you know, Indiana is 7-0 if Halliburton scores more than 20. Well, if they're going to hold him down, and this is exactly what you're saying, if they're going to hold him down, then you could be looking at a 4-game series, a 5-game series. I mean, in my mind, and you and I have talked about this off air, I think Oklahoma City can win in 4. But if Indiana wins, to me, it's going to take 7. And that's, I mean, I just think there's a legitimate disparity here. And I think they're both legit in the finals. Indiana earned its way there. But Oklahoma City has reason to be favored, yes?
Yes, they do. And you look at it, and it's like, I do want to take a bow to the Pacers and what they did in beating the Knicks, and the game 1 which set the tone for the series, and it's congratulations to them. And now your reward for getting to the finals is these dudes, all right, who defensively just take you out. And so it's going to be fascinating to watch. That's it. We're done. Back to you.
Speaking of championship,
On to the grandest stage, immortality waits. An unforgettable journey is nearing its finale. The NBA Finals, Game 1 on ABC.
SGA playing like an MVP. The Oklahoma City Thunder are going back to the NBA Finals. Halliburton, a 3 and goal! For the first time in 25 years, they're going to the NBA Finals.
Well, right there.
Okay, do you guys remember 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, right? That game where you can literally link any actor to Kevin Bacon in 6 steps or fewer? Well, when it comes to these NBA Finals, you don't need nearly that many to get to Paul George. Yes, he suited up for both franchises, but his fingerprints are all over this series in ways that go far beyond the box score. From trades that reshaped rosters to stars that emerged in his wake, PG-13's shadow looms large, and Justin Tinsley connects those dots.
Every NBA Finals comes with a compelling backstory. But this year is different because it comes with quite the butterfly effect. What's that, you ask? A singular change that leads to unpredictable, far larger impacts. Or in basketball terms, the Paul George effect. Neither the Indiana Pacers nor the Oklahoma City Thunder stand on the doorstep of history without Paul.
This one is over! You have got to be kidding me.
Trades happen all the time, but this is where things start to get really crazy. In July 2019, the Thunder traded Paul George to the Los Angeles Clippers, pairing him with Kawhi Leonard. In return, Oklahoma City received the Kings ransom that included Danilo Gallinari and 5 draft picks, one of whom became All-Star Jalen Williams. But the centerpiece no one realized was a centerpiece at the time, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, only the reigning league and Western Conference Finals MVP.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but he's known for exactly that, isn't he?
The NFL has the Herschel Walker trade, one that was directly responsible for erecting the Dallas Cowboys dynasty of the 1990s.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! This isn't a knock on George, one of the better two-way stars of his generation. By parting ways with him, though, 2 franchises found cornerstone point guards. Now, both meet in the NBA Finals, and one will call himself an NBA champion in a matter of days. By George, the road to this year's finals actually started 8 years ago.
So after moving on from Paul George, both teams opted to get younger. In fact, the Thunder and Pacers have an average combined age of 26.3 when weighted by playing time in the playoffs. It's the second youngest average age for an NBA Finals in the shot clock era, and the youngest since 1977. Well, we absolutely love this youth, Shams Charania. You're young to me, because I'm not, who's joining us now for much more. I know how I personally feel about this finals matchup, but what are people across the league saying about getting the Pacers and the Thunder?
All across the league, it's really like a changing of the times, because you think about both of these teams and it's the sum of all of their parts. It's not just based on just star power and just the household star names that we've become accustomed to. It's two teams that have built through those Paul George trades, but also built through the draft, built through smart trades, a series of acquisitions, whether it's Pascal Siakam or going out and getting a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, or putting yourself in a position where you turn Gordon Hayward's $30 million expiring contract into Isaiah Hartenstein, or turning Josh Giddey as a draft pick into Alex Caruso. So you're seeing teams now focus more and more on defense, youth, culture, character as identities for teams. And another note here, the Indiana Pacers and Oklahoma City Thunder are both in the bottom half of the NBA in payroll. That's going to change in the next 1 to 2 years when the Thunder are going to have to pay their young players, and then the Pacers are going to have to pay Miles Turner. But for now, this is a team that has, both teams have a window here because of their savings on the luxury tax and other salary cap measures to continue to be a threat moving forward.
There's so much off the court, on the court. It's beautiful basketball. They love to run, great defense. I think it's going to be fantastic. And of course, you're now going to probably get a triggered Pacers team considering they're one of the biggest underdogs in NBA Finals history. Okay, now that we know what is, let's just reflect on what could have been. The Knicks were trying to make their first finals since 1999, win it for the first time since 1973. Wasn't meant to be. Pacers knock them off in 6 games and leave New York with a whole ton of offseason questions, which the internet is parsing through. As we speak, Shams, what are you hearing about the Knicks' plans in this offseason?
I'm told the Knicks have internal meetings this week to really evaluate everything from their coaches to their players and just see how they move forward to continue to compete for a championship in the Eastern Conference. But if we've seen the last year and a half as any indication for Leon Rose, the Knicks president, went on and got OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Karl-Anthony Towns to elevate this team, I do expect the Knicks to be aggressive to see, is there a move out there, a landmark move potentially, that takes this team over the top, or do they just make moves around the edges for their bench? But under Tom Thibodeau, we've seen back-to-back 50-plus win seasons. We haven't seen that since the early 90s. In 4 of Thibodeau's 5 seasons as head coach with the Knicks, they've made it to the playoffs. And so it's been an impressive run for Tom Thibodeau. I'm told he has the support, not only Jalen Brunson, but also the front office. So Tom Thibodeau has a lot going for him to potentially return as head coach, but this is a team to keep an eye on, potentially making acquisitions this offseason.
Coming into this season, it was all about they've got to get past that second round. They've got to get to a conference final. They do that. And of course, they end up losing to the Pacers, who were just a better team. But they have, or at least tied with the Pacers, for the second best odds to win the title next season at plus 850, behind only OKC. Shams Charania with the latest around the NBA. Appreciate you, friend. Let's go over to the ice because with you on SportsCenter. So the Knicks are halfway to Cancun by now, and also headed in the offseason with $200 million in committed salary and just 1 tradable draft pick in the next 7 years. That's after acquiring him last season, Mikal Bridges, now eligible to sign a 4-year extension worth just over $156 million. K. Perk is back with us now, and we know that the Knicks had their most successful season in 25 years, and they made that appearance in the conference finals, but of course they fell short. So what do they need to prioritize this offseason so they can make an even further playoff run?
Well, they need to prioritize themselves. That's the first thing, themselves, accountability, right? It's not about going out and making no big-time move or trying to go get a Kevin Durant. No, it's about cleaning up the things in-house, especially when it comes down to your 2 franchise guys in Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. First, they got to get in great shape, right? They were defensive liabilities this entire series. I'm looking at Karl-Anthony Towns. He was struggling to get up and down the floor. His lateral movement, he was getting picked on defensively, and he still averaged a double-double. Just imagine a Karl-Anthony Towns that lose 15 to 20 pounds, what that's going to look like for as him being able to sprint up and keep up with a Pascal Siakam, right? So if I'm Karl-Anthony Towns, I'm Jalen Brunson, I'm embracing it, all the criticism all season long, off season long, and I'm using it for motivation going into next season.
I think one thing they should absolutely prioritize is naming the streets after the team, because I think that would give them a real confidence boost heading into next year. Oh, wait, they already did that. You mentioned Kevin Durant. A lot of people, at least on social media, are going, go get Giannis, because we already know that he is open to a future outside of Milwaukee. In your mind, where do you think is the best landing spot for the 9-time All-Star?
Well, the whispers are that Giannis want to stay out east, right? I'm hearing Toronto, I'm hearing maybe, Detroit, something around there, but Giannis need to take his behind over there with Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards need Giannis, and Giannis need Anthony Edwards. You talk about a duo, right? And when you think about what Anthony Edwards fell short against the Thunder, he need that dominant number 2 option or number 1 option that could take the load off of him against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Giannis is going to give you that. They both are going to show up to work every single night and play their behinds off. They're going to be reliable. And I just think if Giannis go to Minnesota team up with Anthony Edwards, hey, we might be talking about a new favorite in the Western Conference.
Interesting. Trade in Milwaukee for a Minneapolis. He did average over 30 points per game this past season. I know you think that Giannis needs a change of scenery. Did you feel like for yourself you needed a change of outfits? Because you were on this show like 30 minutes ago and you were not wearing that, sir. What? Are you entering witness protection?
I did, El. No. Let me tell you what's going on. See, the plaid, the black and the blue, it kind of made me look heavy. You know what I'm saying? I needed to look skinny. I ain't really like that. I thought this right here kind of made me look skinny a little bit. See how sad I look? That's because I was looking at myself. I was depressed.
So you feel like this is a more slimming look?
Yeah, for sure.
Listen, whatever you need, baby, to feel confident about you doing TV with us. We love that for you. Kendrick Perkins.
All right.
Appreciate you joining.
What's your favorite team? Comment below, and if you liked the video, please leave a like. This really helps the channel grow and brings you even more content. Oh, and if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button and activate the bell to receive all notifications. With each game, we noticed that the NBA is getting more competitive every day, and all the teams are looking for reinforcements to win the championship. And only here can you follow your favorite team daily with incredible content from different sources. Here on the channel, there are new videos every day with analysis, curiosities, and the best moments in basketball. That's it for today, folks. Thanks for following along. The NBA doesn't stop, and neither do we. Until the next video. NBA, the passion that connects us.